Welcome, this is Zangler, the Tesla Semi Advocate, bringing you the latest drone update from the Tesla high volume semi factory that is under construction adjacent to the original Giga Nevada Gigafactory 1. Today's video shows a lot of progress on many different fronts and is just basically an overview. There's one significant update that we'll see in a minute, and otherwise we'll just talk about things as we go. Also, there's a look at the adjacent activity on USA Parkway related to AI, and this area is exploding with AI construction. So there's a lot of different stuff being staged outside. Most of the exciting activity is going on inside. Once again, I will grovel for anyone who happens to be listening at Tesla to see if there's a way to have an on-site tour, see as much of the inside of the factory as they're allowed, and so we can share it with my viewers and get an update, maybe ask a few questions, and that would be awesome. What we're looking at here is either a megacharger cabinet or the utility feed to the cabinet. But every time I keep checking here to see when this is going to be the next step, when they're going to actually complete this. It seems like all they need to do is to deliver the cabinets and the megacharger stands themselves, and they could go live and potentially alleviate the crowd up at the existing megachargers for the ever-expanding Tesla Semi fleet that is doing work for production, delivering batteries, drive motors, and power walls, and also Tesla Engineering, which is testing and putting miles on the Tesla Semi to gather data and find out if there's any weaknesses. I imagine they have a truck that's close to 300,000 miles. Here is a bunch of blue-wrapped equipment, quite a bit of it. Later on, we'll get a close-up look at the markings on it, but it's all Greek to me. But clearly, this is a step in the build-out of the semi-factory line that, as you know, probably know if you've been paying attention to the semi program and high-volume factory Giga Semi. You know that they're projected to build 50,000 a year. I've been saying 150 a day to account for some downtime. I have heard that they want to up that to 200 a day, and I will be here, barring any unforeseen events. I will be here to capture the day when Tesla semis start rolling out of this factory, first as a trickle, and then as a deluge of Tesla semis. We're now flying across the southern perimeter of the factory. This paving has all been done in the last 2 weeks. There's a small segment of paving, and here is the interesting update. First of all, look at the massive amount of tubing that's going on in there. Somebody explained to me what all this tubing is doing. You'll see it in a minute. And is it just, I imagine my best guess is it's just conduit tubing for all the electricity that needs to be routed, but maybe there's more to it than that. That's a lot of tubing. In just a minute, we'll get to the to another conversation item. This is the main entrance. Again, you tell me, is that a semi? Is that a stylized semi with trailer? Or is it a robo-van? I would not be surprised to see if they're going to build the robo-van here in Giga, Nevada and put LFP batteries in it because it doesn't need high performance and being able to charge to 100%, and the longevity of an LFP battery would seem ideal for the robo-van. Here's the gantry crane. If you remember, and if you haven't, go back and look at some very interesting footage of them bringing up the last stamping press. So the first stamping press was on the west side of the stamping building, and they set up the gantry crane outside like they're doing here. This is on the east side of the stamping press building. However, in between, I caught the push-pull tractor, amazing 500,000-pound load rig, bringing the stamping press up, and and I was curious where the gantry crane was. Well, it was inside. They actually backed that. They disconnected the rear push tractor, and they very carefully backed it into the stamping press building. And in this case, that is no longer the case. They are setting it up here on the west side of the stamping building, and I bet they're going to use the BFD that's on this side, the big freaking door, or the big friendly door, going to have to do the two-part step where they drive in, remove the stamping press, and use that door right there to bring it in with the self-propelled transport vehicle, what I like to call the crawler. And I don't think I made that up. I believe that is potentially an industry term. What you're seeing there, by the way, in that door, Tesla, you can't buy a door that big. So Tesla makes the door. They build that frame, and then they use the wall panels, the metal insulated wall panels that they use for the wall to build the door. At least that's my story, and I'm sticking with it until I get corrected. And I do love all of the input from industry, knowledgeable industry people. And I got to give a shout out to Desi Doolin, who really spends a lot of good time and energy and has really good insights. So if you're only watching this on X, I suggest you go over and look at the YouTube version in 4K and look for any comments by Desi Doolin. And he's been doing that for well over a year, close to 2 years, when we were looking at footings and the metal assembly for this building. Anyways, he's an astute observer and an asset to this channel. Now we're coming around the southwest corner of the stamping press building, and the gray appendage building that sticks out, that is, I'm almost certain, based on the watching them build the underground elevator, that'll be used to bring out the spoils of the stamping process. They'll bring out the metal trim pieces and then recycle them. Can't see much inside that door. We did have, if you missed it, early morning flight last week, and I suggest you go back and look at that. And to my previous point, look at Desi Doolin's comments about what he could see inside, more than I could. And there's the BFWD, big freaking wider door. By the way, I'm making this up as I go along, if it isn't obvious. So we're going to continue the circumnavigation of the building, and I'll jump back in when appropriate. And we are going to take a flight over as close to the new announcement of a giant AI server farm that's being built. Here's a decent array of chillers and the piping to support it. And if you notice, there's a bunch of totes that have been delivered. And those totes are containing some material, potentially fiberglass resin would be my first speculation for building the fairings. I keep checking over here for the escape hatch to see when they're going to bring sand in. I assume they're going to bring sand in there and use that as an emergency stop for the Telsa Semi test track. We'll find out when they start bringing them out of here if they're going to bring them out, give them a short charge. Tesla does not charge their vehicles very much until they've reached their destination. And I imagine they'll do the same thing with the Telsa Semi. Much better to manage any potential thermal runaway with a 20% battery load than an 80% or battery load. Can't wait to see if every single Telsa Semi that comes out of here does a little victory lap down that test track, and also see if every one of them parks at the mega charger facility. But look at all the equipment staged outside. Again, if you haven't been watching, many of these cars parked up here are taking the shuttle from that little shuttle area and down to the LFP factory. There's a lot going on down there. That, completely unrelated to this, is a huge band of diatomaceous earth, billions of diatoms, somehow aggregated from ancient Lake Lahontan. I imagine maybe there was a seam. Apologize for the digression. We'll now get back to taking a look at GF1, the original Gigafactory, where it all started about 8 years ago. This was just a valley of rock, and Tesla has to get some credit for the fact that this seems to have kicked off an explosion of construction in the area in the last 8 years, which has reached a fervor pitch now with the addition, in addition to the fulfillment centers that are this area is famous for, or infamous for, is a massive build out in AI compute, including this, a recently announced development from Tract, and they recently announced this is going to be a giant AI server installation. And here's what I can tell you about Tract, thanks to Grok. And here's an overview. Tract is a developer specializing in master plan data center parks for hyperscale, cloud, and AI computing. Their projects in the greater Reno area, particularly within the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, TRIC, are designed to support large-scale AI and cloud infrastructure. That project is 686 acres initially, with a projected expansion of 517 acres to make a total of 1,203, capacity of up to 810 megawatts of utility power at full build-out, working with Nevada Energy, and they're going to be putting in a giant substation to support this. There's switch station, new access roads, wet utility infrastructure, and anyways, it's a huge thing, and I'll endeavor to get over there and get some video of what is now just dirt moving, earth moving in preparation. And also, as you know, that there's several other AI data centers being built in the area, including Vantage, that I have previous videos on. Thank you for joining, and stay tuned for future drone developments as we try to keep current on the Giga Semi build out.